Harrison Ford specifically, in a sense, because we've spoken about it. Um, and he, I remember we saw each other on a plane. I think I was going to Japan or something. He was spontaneously on my flight, and he woke me up.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
John, good to see you again, my man. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. What's up?
So good to see you, dude. This performance is absolutely phenomenal. So seriously, I appreciate you and I have gotten to talk about Star Wars many times, but to talk about a performance like this, it means a lot. So seriously, I appreciate your time.
Nah, thank you.
I'm going to jump into this. After seeing this film and then actually going back and reading more about Brian, there are so many things that just as a viewer, I wish I could have said to him, things that I wish I could ask him. If you had the chance to sit down with him, what's the first thing you wish you could have said? What's the first question you wish you could have asked him?
I think that's the whole point. That I would have been listening for sure. I think this is a character that had a lot to say about his circumstance, about what he'd been through. And as a civilian, I just want to listen and just to hear perspective. So this man was fighting to be heard.
Well, speaking about listening, I feel like as an actor, you've had such an embarrassment of riches when it comes to, I guess, just audio and video of Brian. You had like security footage from the bank, and you had the 911 calls and the calls into the news station. What's
Yeah.
the most important thing that you got out of all of that? The most crucial thing that you learned about Brian just from all of the audio and video that you had?
I think who he was in a sense, the kind of man that he was as well, and for me that informing my performance and making it accurate, but also at the same time choosing moments in which to kind of heighten his character. You know, obviously because we're doing a movie, so we have to kind of entertain simultaneously. But then it's like fun facts too, man. You know, he's a movie buff. He was a movie fan. He liked fantasy and sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's just like, what are the through lines and what can I see that I can use to then come on set and get it done.
And one of the things you guys didn't heighten that I genuinely loved was just how polite he was. Even like in the bank robbery with the two women who were left behind, he was incredibly polite to them, which like that I guess makes the whole situation just a little more. I mean, what did that politeness tell you about who he was?
I mean, I just love that there was a sense that a character study existed alongside with kind of like these thriller moments that you would usually use for a feature film like this. I think when you have those character arcs that kind of like, you know, you have someone who's weirdly nice or quite silent or not always reactive, but then they're in the bank, you know,
Mm-hmm.
holding up. It's kind of that's the complication of life that I like to explore rather than the simplicity of someone who goes into a bank and who's willing to do everything he thought of in his head, you know. Robin, like holding up a bank is kind of awkward. Like you walk in and everyone's like not looking at you, then you have to get their attention, and then you have to kind of command the space. It's quite an awkward process. So even in walking in that was kind of fun for me.
For sure. This is a heavy question, so forgive me in advance for asking it. But for anyone who wants to do any more reading on Brian's life and what happened at that bank, there's that really great article I read that's
Yeah,
called "They Didn't Have to Kill Him," which is a
yeah,
brilliant article. I know you've researched this story from top to bottom, so I'm going to ask you this big question because it's one that I can't wrap my brain around.
mm,
I'm just curious, why is Brian dead? Because I cannot understand any justifiable reason why that man was killed. I just don't understand. I've read the articles and I've read other sources and stuff. I don't understand why he was shot.
I don't understand either, and it's a blank spot that we all struggled with because you know even the two bank tellers in there who were there right in front of him were more than willing to communicate that yeah, this is a guy who did not come with a high level of violence to follow through, and with the negotiator in place and all the personnel, that there could have been something that was done for a much more peaceful outcome. Um, but as you see, we're seeing a very strange act in taking this man's life, despite the fact that you know he showed symptoms of not going through with what he was claiming to do. So it just speaks more to what their strategy was and how they operate in handling those kind of situations. But you'd almost assume that this is someone that could have made it out and could have received help.
Yeah, I'm going to cut you loose on this because they're about to give you the wrap. I am loving the choices that you are making post Star Wars as an actor. Like this is a brilliant role for you. I'm excited. I'm really psyched for The Woman King and obviously Attack the Block too because I love Attack the Block. When you look at all of the actors who are part of the Star Wars legacy over the last 45 years and the choices that they made after it ended, whose career do you? I don't want to say emulate, but whose post Star Wars choices resonate the most with you that you think about when you make choices?
Um, I think Harrison Ford specifically, in a sense, because we've spoken about it. And he, I remember we saw each other on a plane. I think I was going to Japan or something. He was spontaneously on my flight, and he woke me up, mid-flight when everyone's sleeping. He woke me up, sat at the end of my, little, first class bed, and he goes to me, are you still enjoying it, kid? He like, are you still enjoying it, kid? Still good, kid? Harrison with the deep boy. And I said, actually, yeah. At the time, I was like, yeah, I am. And it's just about choices and versatility moving forward. And then to be given this chance now to choose such different characters and then different people to work with has been such a joy. So definitely, it would be Harrison in that sense. Yeah.
I love that. Well, man, it is a joy for us to be able to watch you. You and I have spoken many times over the years, and it's never short of an honor. And I truly appreciate you continuing to do great work because it makes my job easier, man. So seriously, thank you for always fitting me into your schedule. I truly appreciate you.
Good to see you, mate.
I mean, good to see you.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.